It's 2 a.m., you're lying in bed, the lights are off, your eyes are heavy. You told yourself you'd stop scrolling an hour ago, but your thumb keeps moving. Up, down, up, down. A funny video, a tragic news story, a stranger's vacation photos, a heated argument in the comments. You don't even care about any of it, but you can't stop. Not because you're weak, not because you lack willpower, but because 3 billion years of evolution just met a trillion-dollar industry designed to hack your brain. This is the science of scrolling, and once you understand it, you might finally get your life back. Let's start with the obvious. Your phone is not a phone. It's a slot machine. Every time you open an app, you're pulling a lever. Will there be something interesting? Something funny? Something infuriating? Something that makes you feel seen? You don't know. And that uncertainty is what keeps you coming back. Psychologists call this the variable reward schedule. It's the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. You never know when the next hit will come, so you keep pulling and pulling and pulling. In 2018, a team of researchers at the University of California, San Francisco, published a study that changed how we think about phone use. They found that the average person checks their phone 96 times a day. That's once every 10 minutes. And the average session lasts less than 2 minutes. But here's the real kicker. Most of those checks are completely unprompted. Your phone isn't ringing. You don't have a notification. You just reach for it. Out of habit. Out of compulsion. Out of a deep, ancient need that your phone has learned to exploit. So what is that need? It's the same need that kept your ancestors alive. The need for information. The need for social connection. The need to know what's happening around you. For millions of years, humans lived in small tribes. Your survival depended on knowing who was a threat, who was an ally, who was lying, who was trustworthy. Your brain evolved to be hyper-attentive to social cues. It evolved to crave information. It evolved to fear being left out. That's why you check your notifications. That's why you feel a pang of anxiety when you see a red badge. That's why you scroll through your feed, even when you're exhausted. Your brain is running a program that was written for a world that no longer exists. In that world, missing information could mean death. Today, missing information means you might not see a meme. This is evolutionary mismatch. Your biology is still wired for the savannah, but you're living in a digital ecosystem. And that ecosystem has been designed, deliberately, scientifically, ruthlessly, to exploit that mismatch. Every major tech company employs teams of behavioral psychologists. Their job is to make you spend more time on their platform. Not because they care about you, because your attention is their product. Every second you spend scrolling is a second they can show you an ad. Every ounce of your attention is a resource they extract and sell. In 2019, former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris testified before Congress. He told them that the smartphone is the most powerful distraction device ever invented. He explained that tech companies use the same psychological principles as casinos: intermittent rewards, social validation, fear of missing out, the illusion of control. These aren't accidents. They're features. They're engineered. And they're working. The average person spends over 3 hours a day on their phone. That's more than 1,100 hours a year. That's 45 full days of scrolling. A month and a half of your life. Every year. But here's the really disturbing part. It's not just your time they're stealing. It's your brain. In 2020, researchers at the University of British Columbia published a study showing that smartphone use is correlated with decreased gray matter in the anterior cingulate cortex, a region of the brain associated with decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation. In other words, the more you scroll, the more you reduce your ability to stop scrolling. It's a self-reinforcing loop, a trap. And it's not just adults. In 2022, a study from the University of Texas found that the presence of a smartphone, even when it's turned off, reduces cognitive capacity. They call it the brain drain effect. Just knowing your phone is nearby makes you dumber. It reduces your working memory. It reduces your attention span. It makes it harder to think deeply. Which brings us to the deeper question. Why is this happening now? Why is this generation more distracted, more anxious, more lonely than ever before? The answer is not simple. But part of it is the collapse of natural dopamine cycles. Dopamine is the chemical that drives motivation, reward, and pleasure. In the ancestral environment, dopamine was released when you found food, when you connected with someone, when you achieved something meaningful. It was a reward for behaviors that helped you survive. It was precious. It was rare. Today, dopamine is available on demand. Every like, Every comment, every notification releases a small burst of dopamine. It feels good in the moment, but it's hollow. It's empty. And over time, it depletes your ability to feel pleasure from real things. Because your brain builds tolerance, you need more and more stimulation to get the same hit, and so you scroll faster and harder and longer. In 2014, a team of researchers published a study in the journal Nature showing that social media triggers the same neural pathways as cocaine, the same reward circuits, the same craving cycle, the same withdrawal symptoms. It's not a metaphor, it's neurobiology. Social media is addictive. It's designed to be. And the worst part is, we've normalized it. We call it staying connected. We call it keeping up. We pretend it's harmless, but it's not. Here's what nobody talks about. The scrolling isn't just a habit. It's a defense mechanism. It's a way of avoiding discomfort. When you're bored, you scroll. When you're anxious, you scroll. When you're sad, you scroll. When you're lonely, you scroll. Your phone is a pacifier for your brain. And it works. Temporarily. But it doesn't solve anything. It just postpones the feeling. And when the feeling comes back, which it always does, you scroll again. In 2021, a team of researchers at the University of Chicago published a study showing that people who reduced their social media use to 30 minutes a day reported significant decreases in loneliness and depression. They didn't have to quit entirely. They just had to cut back. And it worked. But most people can't do it because the apps are too powerful, because the algorithms are too smart, because the design is too manipulative. Now let's talk about the algorithms. Every major platform uses a machine learning algorithm that's optimized for one thing: engagement. Not truth, not quality, not connection. Engagement. The algorithm learns what makes you scroll, what makes you angry, what makes you outraged, what makes you afraid, what makes you jealous, and it feeds you more. It's not trying to make you happy, it's trying to keep you hooked. In 2022, a whistleblower from a major social media company released internal documents showing that the algorithm was intentionally designed to amplify outrage, division, and fear. Because outrage drives engagement. Anger makes you scroll. Fear makes you scroll. And the more you scroll, the more money they make. This isn't a conspiracy. It's a business model. And it's working so well that it's tearing societies apart. But here's the part that gives me hope. You're not powerless. You're not a victim. You're not a puppet. You are a human being with agency, with awareness, with the ability to choose. And the first step to choosing differently is understanding the trap you're in. So what do? You start by noticing. Notice when you reach for your phone without thinking. Notice when you're scrolling but not enjoying it. Notice when you feel the compulsion to check. Just notice. Don't judge. Don't fight. Just observe. Because awareness is the first step to freedom. Then you create friction. Turn off notifications. Move the apps off your home screen. Set time limits. Use grayscale mode. Make it harder to access the apps that steal your attention. Because your brain is terrible at resisting temptation, but it's good at following rules if you set them in advance. Then you replace. You replace scrolling with something that actually nourishes you. A book, a conversation, a walk, a hobby, something real, something that gives you genuine dopamine. Not the synthetic kind. Something that makes you feel alive. And finally, you reconnect. You reconnect to your body, to your relationships, to the world around you. You remember what it feels like to be bored, to be still, to be present. Because boredom isn't the enemy. Boredom is where creativity comes from. Boredom is where you figure out what matters. Boredom is where you discover yourself. So the next time you find yourself scrolling at 2 a.m., stop. Just stop. Put the phone down. Take a breath. Look at the ceiling. Ask yourself, what am I really looking for? Because the answer isn't on your screen. It never was.